We want to dive into the content side of snowmobiling. So with obviously with how popular social media is and capturing content, there's more and more people who are sledders who are out there who are trying to just capture and bring back off the mountain or the hills what they did on the mountain. And for most of us, it doesn't look as cool afterwards as we thought it did while we were doing it, right? But you guys seem to always make it look like even more cooler than maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe walk us through we can talk about kind of what you take into the backcountry with you as far as equipment goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very fortunate to have the guides that I do and the people I ride with. I like to say they're very photogenic, so that really helps a lot. Just being able to point a camera at some pretty good riders. I don't ever want to come out as cocky or arrogant, and I won't ever say we're the best riders, because there's people that are killing it, crushing it, and but I'm lucky that I will say our guides are super talented riders. They're good at what they do. So I'm very lucky in that regard to be able to point a camera at some people that can do cool stuff. I go tell them to do this thing, and they'll do it. So that helps a lot, just having whatever you're filming. That's what I tell people always. Like, number one priority is make sure what you're filming is interesting, because story always wins. It doesn't matter how beautiful it is, but you got to make sure people are going to... that's why iPhone videos go viral.
Yeah.
It's like, if the content's interesting, people are going to like it. But
yep.
So that's where I start, really. Just make sure whatever I'm filming looks good, and then from there, I like to have fun with edits. And you can make it more interesting than it is, too, for sure. But
yeah.
Usually starts with content.
Are you paying a lot of attention to the landscape? Are you like, this might be a cool thing, but the landscape isn't that great behind or within it, and so pass. Let's go to something else, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. So with getting content, a lot of the times, sometimes it's controlled, sometimes it's directed. I'll have someone go do a very specific line with a backdrop or something, or maybe the light looks really good. Sometimes it's just complete chaos, where I'm just like whipping my camera out and getting whatever I can, and sometimes those are the best clips.
Yeah.
So it's a mix. Most of the time, I'm like, hey, go do this. The light looks really good here. Or I'll tell Anna, hey, go do a wheelie for 100 yards on this ridge, because there's a backdrop, So mix of both, for sure.
So what's the breakdown? How much are you using a mobile or an iPhone versus, your tricked out setup? What's the breakdown there?
Yeah, me personally, I'm probably using my tricked up setup like 80% of the time, just because, in my heart, I'm a creative, and like I'm a sole believer of camera gear. Like, obviously iPhones are getting better and better, but sometimes it breaks my heart when I do see a viral iPhone clip, because I'm like, man, like I'm an artist. I consider myself an artist. I love to film. I'm a nerd with the camera gear. Like, I've got this super expensive camera setup, but this iPhone clip's going viral. So I do admit it breaks my heart a little bit, but I get it. It's good on the marketing side of things too. That's great. But yeah, 80% I'm whipping out my good camera, because I just want to stand out a little differently than most people. So
what's like the one thing about your camera setup that you think, like, what's your favorite piece of equipment about your camera setup? Is it like the lens is it the actual camera? Like, what's the thing that makes...
Well, last year I finally upgraded to a camera that shoots 4K at 120 frames per second.
Okay.
And that really stepped up the content game, especially
that gets you that slow, like that buttery
slow-mo. And I have a love-hate relationship with slow-mo, because like it is overused a little bit, but it also always looks really good in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for it, but I like using that for powder shots. Like, there's nothing cooler than a super slow-mo pow shot. Like, everyone loves that. Everyone loves seeing that content. So having that ability is awesome.
We could probably bring this in, but guys, tell us about that one you posted like a couple weeks ago. I mean, so we'll overlay that video in.
Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming.
The first time I watched that clip, it was like I was there. Like, I could feel. It was like, oh, I'm going into the snow right now. I can't see anything. It wasn't like I was just looking at it. I was experiencing it.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing with the camera. Like, you can get so much further zoomed in and not have it all pixelated.
Like an iPhone, versus an iPhone.
Which makes it like feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Which is a lot better.
And it took
Yeah.
off just that one post. I mean, you were telling us, I mean, there's nearly, 2,000 sends on Instagram. I don't know how many views you guys had on that, but like thousands of the metrics, right, were on it.
Yeah, I think it's
But-
almost 100,000. I posted it a few days ago, which is pretty good for us
Yeah.
and the snowmobile world in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I'm like I said, I'm very fortunate because that was a video of Riley. I'm taking the footage, but I was just able to tell Riley like, hey, go jump off this. You know, it wasn't even a very big jump, but I could tell like the way my brain worked as I saw that terrain feature.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, even it's not a huge jump, but I know because of how good the snow was,
What
like
it's gonna look like.
I know it's gonna look super buttery if you just jump off this. And everyone,
Buttery it was.
yeah, it's not a super technical maneuver. Like anyone could do that.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that it was super deep, epic pow. It was so relatable, and like you said, it felt like you were there.
Yeah.
Like that kind. Whatever you're filming has to be, like whatever's in front of the camera is the priority.
Yeah.
And you make it look good later. Like that video probably would have done pretty good if it was just an iPhone. But what really stepped it up was that super awesome 4K 120
Yeah.
buttery smooth, zoomed in, tight shot. You could see the snow hitting his goggles. Like
Yeah,
that's the difference.
it literally felt like you yourself could feel that snow hitting you in the face. Like that, it just felt like that. I
Yeah.
was really hoping at the end he was just gonna come to a stop and then just fall into the snow, just like.
Yeah, it probably also
This is
helped that it
it.
was like probably 90 degrees when I posted that video, like in the West. It was
Yeah.
super hot, and people were like, "Oh, that looks so good right
Yeah.
now." Like, I would
Perfect
love
timing,
it. Yeah.
genius.
I love posting POW
Genius.
stuff this
Hey.
time of year.
Right there, we got to get into your mentals.
Yeah.
There was some mental stuff going on there with that one.
If you're a creator looking to get views right now, post in the heat of summer after heydays. Start posting POW content. 'cause
Yes.
POW content does awesome right now. Like
Yeah.
way better than a jump would do. Like or a tree line. Like post POW content right now. That'll
There you
get some
go.
attention.
That's a social media tip right there from
Yeah.
Jeff.
Timing is a big
Timing.
part of it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.